Reef DVM's coming at you here from the farmstead. Things are going really well. Today we fired up the 4720 and pulled it out of the barn and kind of went to help out one of the neighbors. Every farm has products that they make that they have extra of, and typically you sell them. We're no different. We make hay, and a lot of times we have extra hay and we get to sell it. And over my many years, I've taken hay and I've sold it on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or in the local newspaper, or sometimes even by signage. Either way, the extra hay isn't needed by our animals, and it's a nice income source for the farm. But sometimes it's hard for small farmers and little homesteads and even hobby farmers to deal with the hay, and I do feel for them. So, this is one of these deals where I got a good friend down the road. He needs some hay and he's willing to buy it. And you know what? There's no sense being a jerk of a farmer to those people. We sold him the hay, he paid for it, and you know what? There's nothing killing me right now to leave it sit in the barn, and when he needs it, drive it over to him. Now, I know there's some people on Facebook and stuff, and especially Twitter, that are on our accounts, and they say, well, what the heck you doing hauling a hay bale over to them every time they need it? They should come over with a trailer and pick it up. Well, I just don't think that's the right way to do it, folks, and that's why I'm making the video. People see me driving down the road with my John Deere and hauling a few people hay here and there, at least the local ones that I can reach easily. I mean, gosh darn it, you're not going to drive 20 miles with a hay bale on a tractor, okay? But going down the road, a mile or two, just to give a small-time farmer a bale that, doesn't own a tractor, or a hobby farmer that doesn't have a skid steer with a fork on the end of it or something like that. We do it just because it's the right thing to do. That's what farming is about too. That's what family's about. It's sometimes about helping out. I mean, don't get me wrong. Every bale that's in this small Quonset barn is paid for, folks. We've gotten every one paid for in cash, which is great. But you know what? The barn isn't needed all winter. There's no sense letting the guy's hay sit outside and get wrecked when he doesn't have the facility to put it in. And I don't mind helping people out. To me, that was how I was raised, and that's part of farming. So we're going to grab one of these bales. I think this year we had, I'm just going to guess, maybe 20 extra. It wasn't a bumper year for hay for us. A lot of years we get 60 to 80 extra bales and we get to sell them. This was not one of those years. But we had about 20 extra, and again, a small horse farm down the road. Paid for them all right away. Saved me the headache of having to put out an ad and stuff. And you know what? I don't mind keeping them up in the barn and delivering a bale when he needs it. It's the way to help out their family and, keep their livestock good. And you know what? Their hay isn't wasting as much, and they're not going through as much because the hay is stored inside. And that's the way to do it. I really wish in today's world of, farming and community and stuff, there'd be more of that kind of scratch my back kind of attitude. I wish people would help each other out more and not be so touchy about it. Somebody calls you up at 7 o'clock at night and needs a wrench, and I hope if you're a farmer and you've got the wrench they need, that you will loan it out to them. Yeah, and hopefully they'll be respectful too, and put the hammer down and clean the wrench up and get it back to you in a respectful amount of time. You know what? Maybe they'll buy you a case of beer or a bottle of bubbly, or catch you for dinner at some other point when you save them with that plumbing wrench that they needed at that time of night. That to me is what family and farm and homestead's all about. And on our neighborhood up here, the next door neighbor farm is just a fantastic family, and the other farm on side of them is some older folks, and they struggle a bit to make it. And then on the other side of them is a horse farm. Across the way is unfortunately rented big commercial land. I wish I could wish them the best more often, but we don't really get to see those folks. They come in with the big combines and their really big equipment, and they're in and out of there, and that's about all we ever see of them. But the little people, folks, the ones that got the homeschool kids and the 4-H'ers and the FFAs, and they've got a couple backyard horses and some cats and some chickens and maybe a goat or a small beef animal or two. Those are the people that you need to support, and this is one of the ways to do it. You jump in the tractor and you store some bales of hay for them, and you deliver them as needed. So you can see here, I get to the end of my driveway, kind of got a lot of the Christmas stuff up. I'm kind of a big St. Nick fan, so I kind of got a Christmas Wonderland on one side, and then I got the Nativity on the other, and it's getting close to the holidays, and I'll do this, delivering a bale even when it's not the holidays, folks, but this time of year maybe it's just a little bit more special, I guess. We get out here on the road, I got my hazards on, and I always try to stay off to the slow side. The cars at this time of day aren't too touchy, which is good. The little 4720 here doesn't rocket down the road real fast. I can only do about 12 miles an hour in this little beast. But it's the perfect little tractor to deliver a bale to somebody too. As we, continue on with, our family and stuff, I'd like to think that, my kids, my girls, and my son are all raised with the idea that, you help your neighbors out. Sure, I get that not everybody gets along with their neighbors all the time, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't help them out. And in this case, this is how we do it. It's one of the ways we do it. So thought I'd grab the camera and let it roll as we take a bale over and give it to Tom and his family. His prompt payment and willingness to buy my hay and not complain about whether it's been a good year or a bad year for the hay has been real appreciative, and I certainly don't mind storing it and delivering it. As you can see, it's a little ways down the road, and that's okay. It's a little bit of fuel on my end, sure, that's true, but again, I don't have to deal with the ads and the inconvenience and the calls and dealing with the people coming loading them up either, which also is going to take a little bit of fuel if you got to load somebody's trailers up. Here we are. It's a beautiful little farm here. They've got several horses, and they've got chickens and cats. They got all sorts of stuff on this little place. But we're kind of in and out today. We don't need to bother them. We just bring in the bale, and there's a area here where they tie the horses up. I just typically like to kind of drop it here. Makes for a nice loading spot for them so they can get it out. They do have a tractor, folks, but not one that's got the lift capabilities to drop a round bale out in the feeders for their animals. So a lot of times these guys are just, using an ATV and plywood board and, pulling out the hay or even manually rolling it out. So again, somebody coming over that's got some equipment and give them a little help and moving a hay bale or two. That's just what these folks need. And gosh darn it, I hope more farmers do that. I hope we stay courteous to our neighbors and respectful to them, and understand their needs as well as they understand ours. And they understand that we make hay when the sun shines, and if they pay for it and ask us, hopefully we'll all chip in and help them out a little bit too. Not everybody's blessed to have this used equipment like this. This tractor I think we bought, oh gosh, quite a few years ago now, and it was used when we bought it, and it's been a good little beast, and at some point it'll get upgraded on our farm too, but one step at a time. So I'm going to head back to the farm here and get this little guy back in the shed and go on with the rest of the day of chores and stuff. But folks, if you get a moment, you're out there farming, doesn't matter whether you're bean farming, corn farming, you're out raising goats, you got sheep, pigs, cattle, I don't care what it is. If your neighbors ask for a little bit of help, I hope you take the time to consider helping them out, because that's what farming and homesteading and family's all about, folks. You guys have a wonderful upcoming Christmas season. It's Advent here at this time when I'm shooting this video, and in a few weeks we'll all be cracking some eggnog and sitting around the fireplace with the family, and if Lord be willing, we'll be opening up a few gifts and singing some songs. So you guys have a good day. Please continue to like and subscribe and support the channel, and we'll keep putting out great videos like this.